Hello, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Mine was not great, but here we are. We're here to make ourselves feel better by, I don't know, looking at these two titans. As I like to say, what happens when an unstoppable Spurg meets an immovable autist? Fun happens. That's what happens is fun. So, with that awkward introduction out of the way, so I'm not going to go through the entirety of the DSP redemption arc that's been going on for like the last almost year now. Basically, Ashton and Andy, who run Kino Casino, decided to redeem Phil, Darkside Phil, basically just for fun, like for the lulz, as they used to say back in my day. So they were basically just praising him constantly on their show, saying how like he's the king. They started all these memes and stuff like that to just kind of butter him up. And Phil is, I guess from this, he's brutally autistic, and he didn't get it at all. Like, he was completely fooled by all of this. So they decided that they were going to give Phil a redemption arc. Now, personally, my opinion on this is...
Review Tech is having tech.
It's always been kind of a little from column A and from little column B. There is the two main theories with regards to this. The first theory is that this was planned from the beginning, that they were going to get all this dirt on Phil and then drop it and then snake him. And then there's theory two, that they were genuinely trying to give him a redemption arc and they were genuinely trying to do stuff with him. And some of that is making fun of him, but they were actually trying to do a DSP redemption arc, and he was just such an insufferable like bitch to deal with that they just couldn't deal with it anymore. And over time, it went from them trying to like kind of be his friend to them just despise him and wanting to try to destroy him by any means necessary. So I tend to be more in the second category. I tend to be more in the second category. I do think like Ashton legitimately wanted to help Phil. And if you watch the Kino Casino thing where they go through this video, I think it's very clear. Ashton's a troll and he can be very much a dick, but he's not like a complete asshole. And he's like monster. He's been in the place where Phil's been in the past, which is one of kind of the reasons I tend to empathize with him a lot. And I do think he actually wanted to help Phil. He also wanted to make fun of him and milk some content off of him, but all of these things can be true at the same time. They can be doing it as a way of making money and stuff like that, but they can also do it as a way of trying to help out Phil. I mean, it's really the only thing Phil has to offer. So, basically, for the last 9 months, they've been trying to get Phil to do stuff. They've been trying to get him to do gaming streams. They've been trying to get him to do interviews with people. They had him on with Juice. They tried to have him on with Mr. Medicare. They tried to have him on with, what's his name? Mudahar and kind of some other people. And Phil basically shot them all down, or either shot them down or made excuses. And basically none of the stuff actually happened. And we'll get into all of that. But Phil decided, for whoever knows what reason, to bring Review Tech USA on his Level 1 podcast to fight against the casino. They're going to bring the League of Evil together. And for those of you who don't know, RTU, or Review Tech USA, is Phil's arch nemesis. Well, Phil has like 50 arch nemesis, but he's one of them. RTU, for like the last 3 years, over half of his streams have just been him watching DSP content. with no commentary while he's stoned out of his mind. He hates Phil. He's like one of the biggest detractors ever. Now, he's not an effective detractor. He's one of the worst detractors, but he is a big guy. Big guy in the detractor community. So Phil's like, I'm gonna bring RTU on, and we're gonna join forces against the power of the casino. And for some reason, Phil thought that this was a good idea, and that they were going to, I don't know, they were going to do something. So we'll get into this in a second. There's an image I want you to keep in your mind. So in Dark Souls 3, you face off against the Soul of Cinder, which to me is the perfect ending to the Dark Souls series. The enemy, the Soul of Cinder, very much resembles the Chosen Undead and the Cursed One and stuff like that from the previous games. It takes place in the Kiln of the First Flame. That's very similar to the ending of the first game. You even have Gwyn's theme playing in the background. And the end of Fire, the flame finally goes out. It's kind of the absolutely perfect ending. But they decided that was just not enough. That was not a good place to end it. What we're going to do is we're going to bring back some homeless guy who kind of looks like Santa, and he's actually going to be the final boss, Slave Knight Gale. And that is going to be the end of the series. And a lot of people were disappointed, but somebody said that, you know what, this is maybe the thematic ending to it. You have two random homeless guys fighting over nothing at the end of the world to try to simp for the last waifu. I mean, that's literally what this is. It's just these two losers. They're fighting over the last waifu so that they can simp for her. And it's just some random homeless guy. And that kind of summarizes the core themes of the Souls games to a certain extent. And I say this because this is more or less what we have with DSP and Phil. We have two lol cows at the end of the world fighting over nothing to appease no one to no purpose. And just as bleak as it is that you're fighting Slave Knight Gale in the ruins of the Ring City as the world is basically dead, that's more or less the image that came to mind when I looked at this video. So I'm going to play a clip from The Sopranos that I think very well summarizes Phil's cope. Hopefully this won't get me demonetized, but we'll get into it. You'll understand why I'm playing this in a second.
You're right. Why are you making me do this, you fat fucking miserable piece? Tell me. Don't lie. What? Who? What?
Her heart will sing.
Why do they have to have the loud music? Okay, I'm sorry. Let's just see.
Make some so that someday
Sorry if I keep meeting it. It's the music.
by
They had me, Tony.
I've heard that's where
I was going away for pushing H. How long? A year and a half. Now, Russ, a year and a fucking half you've been running your own fucking gossip column? Motherfucker! Let me explain.
so that someday
I fed them bullshit. Nothing. Whatchamacallit, disinformation so I could live. Keep earning on any subsistence level whatsoever. I will do nothing, Tony. Nothing to put you in harm's way. All he is.
That's how I got tipped off about the Bevilacqua hit, huh?
So that is the tier of cope we're about to see. That is the tier of cope we're about to see. A tier of cope like Big Pussy said, I fed him crap, Tony. I fed him crap. I didn't rat on you. It was disinformation. It was psychological warfare. So that being said, let's get into this. I don't know how far we'll go with this, but this is the biggest cope I've ever seen. If DSP actually did this, then this is the biggest gay op of all time. I'm also going to just issue like a general apology. Because I've been probably the detractor who's been the most like neutral on Phil. I'm the one who sometimes gives him credit, who sometimes sides with him against the detractors. I'm the guy who's always saying he's not that bad and stuff like that. But if what Phil says in this video is true, he is a sociopath. He is insane. Now, I think this is a cope, but I don't think it's true. But the fact that he would make the stuff up he's going to say, and he thinks that that's better, I was wrong. The detractors were right. This guy is a massive piece of shit. I just thought he was like just kind of a dick who begged for money, but was largely harmless. But no, this guy is a full-on sociopath. Like, this is the stuff he's going to say in here is crazy. So before we get into this, just one more thing while we're reading, because he's dropping his DMs, I just want to read. This is a DM that I sent to Phil in July of 2024, back when he first announced he was going to go on Kino Casino. So I'm just going to read some parts of this. Hi, Phil. I hope you're doing well. My conscience compelled me to message you a friendly warning. I was watching the casino and they said they were going to have you on. I don't know if this is a joke or not, but keep in mind that a lot of the people that Ashton and Worski have dealt with over the years have gotten horribly burned. And while everything might work out fine, I don't want to see you added to the list. Regardless of their intent, it's pretty obvious they've been buttering you up for months now to try and convince you to come on their show. I don't have anything against them personally, and I don't think they're actively out to screw you, but there's a lot of trolls in their audience. I would recommend you make sure to do your due diligence regarding them and their show, and be sure that going on it is something you want to do. There's been a number of cases in the past where they have an interview and it winds up doing permanent damage to the reputation, the career of the person involved. You're an adult with more experience than most in dealing with drama and other internet stuff, so you can make your own decisions. Just make sure not to let your guard down because they're being really nice or differential to you, or because they go after review tech or other people who laugh at you. At any rate, God bless. I wish you all the best, and I just hope you are careful and think about it before you make any decisions before going on Kino Casino. So that was part of what I said to Phil. Before this, and I think I was 1,000% correct. Now you can say I'm a killjoy or something like that, but I don't know.
I'm going to be a little busy today. Got to treat him with respect, dignity, tradition. How it's going to go.
Okay, let's see here.
So it will be a normal stream, but it will be later on after Rich has been on the show. And we'll be all good then, all right? So I just want to let everyone know that's how it's going to go. I don't want... Now listen, I know...
Let me know if the audio balance is okay.
I know people are probably going to try to be, getting Rich's attention. They're going to be insulting him and stuff. I know how it goes. That's why I'm paying no attention. That's why there's no pop-ups on the screen or anything. I'm not going to have people, pop-ups saying nasty stuff about him and stuff like that.
He's such a liar. He reads the chat.
Got to treat him with respect, dignity, just like he's always treated me. Right? Jasper Kitty. Now, Jasper, I'm going to be a little busy today. He's very needy today. Okay?
Oh, well, you know what, Phil? I'm going to mog you. I'm gonna get Rain, and I'm gonna get her to sit in my lap. Okay, no, Rain's not having it.
So he might interrupt the podcast several times. Oh, it looks like Rich may be ready. Hold on 1 second. I think.
By the way, and we'll get into this probably in this, but apparently with Phil, he didn't want to go to Florida with him because he didn't want to leave Jasper alone. He said that leaving Jasper alone, like his cat, for like a week would traumatize Jasper permanently, which is insane. I leave Rain alone all the time when I go on vacation. I have someone who comes in every day for a couple minutes and just makes sure she's okay, that there's food, water, in the litter box, plays with her a little bit. I mean, cats probably don't even really need you to survive. I mean, when I get back, she's really affectionate and shows she missed me, but I mean, cats, like, it's fucking stupid.
He may be ready. So what I will do is I'm going to get Jasper Kitty off my lap here.
Jasper Kitty, like, Phil has these weird isms. It's like Theoden King.
Okay. And let me just make sure that things are muted. It is muted for now until I want to make sure that he's all good.
What kind of person would start a live stream without making sure that their tech is working and spend minutes at the beginning screwing around with things and wasting their audience's time? What kind of person would do that, Phil?
Before we get started here. All right, let me get my headphones on. Okay?
Okay.
For 1 sec. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute the mic. I'm going to get the stuff working on Discord with him first. Then I'm going to get it working here through the stream. And then we're going to begin. All right? So FYI, it's going to take a minute. There's nothing you can do if the person's not already on the call.
Yes, there's nothing you can do. Oh, based. Okay. We got nothing you can do. We need is what it is, and I digress.
There, you have to do this live. Sorry for those who want, tech immediately. And, whoa, why isn't it live right now? I'm working on it, okay? All right, we'll mute the mic, and I'll be back in a moment.
I'm not even going to, explain why that's retarded, because it would take too much effort.
And we will get stuff going. Fair enough? So let me...
Okay.
Okay, ready? Get that out of there, and I'll be right back, everybody.
I don't want to be too hard on Phil for dead
second,
air,
everyone.
because I feel like I have quite a bit of dead air when I'm trying to get my thoughts together some of the time. I will pause or I will just be doing something. So I don't want to hit him too much for that. This is content. You liking this, guys? This is quality content.
I'm waiting for him to get it fixed. And I'll keep you in the loop.
Okay.
I'm ready to go, and I'm waiting for him to figure his stuff out. So we'll start as soon as he fixes it. Alrighty then.
Quality content. Quality content. Okay, let me... Okay. By the way, when I get back from the US, I'll try to get actually an overlay going and maybe some pre-stream music. The reason I don't use music is because, as I've said, I've gotten copyright strikes in the past for using royalty-free public domain music, so I just always scared of using it. Is it muted? No, it's not muted. I think they're just incompetent with their audio. And Rich always has these fucking birds or I don't even... What is the reference? Could someone explain to me what the reference is? Why he has Bill Gates with a cockatoo? I just might be stupid. I might not get what the kids are doing. This is not me. They muted themselves because they're retarded. I know my audio.
So you can hear
okay,
me.
there we go.
Rich, hello. How are you?
I'm lovely, Philip. How are you?
I'm
You're
good.
Looking stunning in that sweater today. Looking nice.
Thank you, sir. So
This is the ever elusive RTU like W. He somehow managed to get what few brain cells haven't been fried by the weed together, and is going to just destroy Phil.
I'm adjusting right now. I'm going to ask the chat. How does it sound? Because
I'm
every time.
enjoying.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
enjoying your succulent. I'm enjoying your succulents behind you. They're very succulent.
Of course. Well, you built them too, so you know how succulent they are.
They're very. I love them.
So, guys, how does
Thank you for the inspiration.
Just a side note on like Rich. I don't like to accuse people of you know the stuff with the stuff, but Rich's sexuality is so fucked. Like the amount of times he just talks about gay sex or like fucking people or just weird sexual fetishes he has. That combined with the pictures of the bikini pictures of the kids in his porn folder, I really do wonder about him. He's not doing himself any favors with all the weird shit he says.
How is the audio levels, everybody? Are we good? Because every time I do it on Discord, everyone says that I'm too loud, but I tried to adjust it today so it sounds good. Are we good, everybody? They say we're good. All right, well, let's begin. So, wow, first of all, an epic moment. I think this has been a long time coming, in the making. People have wanted to see us have a conversation for a very, very long time. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving us your time. I want to say that up front.
What interesting. What a coincidence. What are the odds? It's the coincidence of this timing. Just I'm sure it's all just circumstantial, right?
Oh, of course. There's absolutely no reason why it would be right now, this week, or anything. No, it's just.
I'm gonna be honest. Watching Phil interact with anybody is so weird. He might be the most socially awkward person I've ever seen.
Came together that way by complete, dumb luck, right? But you're here. That's respectable. I thank you for your time, and I want to let you know, because I told the audience this before. I know you weren't here. There is absolutely no interruptions. There's no pop-ups on this stream. I'm not going to be reading shout-outs or anything from anyone. The stupid camera is screwing with me right now. But I'm not going to be doing anything to be distracted. It's you and me. I want to respect you because you're giving me your time.
Welcome to the Thunderdome, bitch.
It's not about contributions today. I mean, I will shout them out after we're done when you're gone. He
didn't get any.
I'm not going to.
He made like less than $100
like that. That's not what this is, okay?
I don't care. I don't care if you did anyway, but that's fine.
I know you don't care, but it's just the thing.
Also, why can't Rich clip this properly? Like, for fuck's sake, look at that. Look at that. Like bit of black there.
I mean, you're gonna give me your time, dude. I gotta give you respect for doing that. You could be doing something better with your time, I'm sure, and I appreciate you coming on. Now, before we begin, I want to clear the air here. You have absolutely no preconceived notions of what this appearance is, right? You don't know. We haven't talked about if it's going to be a topic, if it's going to be anything, right? We haven't planned anything, correct?
No, not once. And if you did, I would call you out on it. You didn't.
There you go.
Say a fucking word to me about anything.
Because people have been speculating for the last couple of days, well, since yesterday, and I guess you had let it drop on your show that you were going to appear a couple days ago before we had really confirmed
People
it.
watch RTU?
Yesterday, and everyone's freaking out. This is an evil plot. They've got all this stuff going on, and, this is not legit. But no, it's not the case. We have nothing planned, all right, previously, like Rich, and I have not spoken about this beforehand. This is completely a legit appearance here. And I guess, Rich, before I begin saying anything, just before we start,
you're going to get shirtless.
So there's something that it's hard to describe, but just Phil has no ability to interact with another person. Like it's hard for me to. He just doesn't really seem to have a theory of mind that acknowledges the existence of other people. Like when he's talking to someone else, it sounds like he's just giving a speech into a microphone or something. It's hard to describe, but there's just a general surreal quality to the whole thing. There's a surreal quality to the whole thing.
Are you going to get shirtless?
Absolutely not. I'm just curious.
Oh, come on.
Do you have anything you would like to just say up front as a starter before we get into anything? Is there anything you want to get off your chest? Is there anything you'd like to say?
I got plenty of questions, but this is your show, so I will let you begin.
Oh,
I
okay.
have plenty.
He's got plenty of questions, but it's
Like, he doesn't really react in a normal human way to anything people say. He just will repeat what they say, or I don't know, just awkwardly laugh.
my show. All right, that's fair enough. That's a good way to start. Okay. All right. So, funny that you bring up, the timing of everything, correct? Because obviously I tried to get you on this show back in the fall, and it fell apart. You did cancel last minute. Then you wanted to come back on, and at that point I wasn't interested. But we're not here to argue about the specifics of what happened there. But I have tried to have you on, and it didn't work out for whatever reason. So now, this week, I've got you on, all right? And a lot of people are like, this is great. It's the first face-to-face of Rich versus Phil, and they're going to either have it out or maybe this is a plot. They're going to be like buddies now because the casino has turned on Phil. And now Phil's probably looking for allies, right? And he's looking for buddies to team up with against the casino, right? That's what everyone's saying. What do you think about that?
Well, I hope to God that you knew from the beginning that was going to happen. I don't think you did, though, because you were essentially in there. You did simp for them for a while, Phil. Mm-hmm. One thing I found funny is that things that I've just said for years, you make it like I'm going to stalk you and dry hump your front door in the middle of the night. But
like, what is it with Rich and sex? I actually kind of find it uncomfortable whenever I watch, like, the casino guys watching a clip of Rich. He just brings up sexual stuff so much, and it's kind of creepy.
PPP said those things at the time. Now you're different because the fallout, and he was calling your wife fat. But back then, it was with them. It was just razzing. What's the difference between when I said something and when PPP said something, which would be just as bad, if sometimes not worse? Why was there a difference with that?
Well, there's two things. Number one, if you have some kind of an arrangement with someone, if you're working business-wise with someone, okay, and you know that there's a mutual benefit to being associated or making content, then you give a few inches, right? You'll give a little bit of leeway. You'll let them get a little bit of a rise or get a little bit of a boost or a little bit of whatever it is on your behalf. Because, quite frankly, you're also getting a boost on their behalf by being associated or making content with them, all right? But just like everything, there's a limit to that. And what's happened is PPP took it upon himself to...
Okay, so I kind of get what Phil is saying here. If it's like a friend or it's somebody you know, and you want to kind of bust each other's balls or make fun of each other or stuff like that, like I think in some of Sir's videos, he yells out and says, Argent you, Espion F-slur. And we did like the video where I pretended that he was like some black lesbian from Vermont, and he said I was Dinesh D'Souza. And we did some stuff like that, or we just like, or some guys just make fun of each other or stuff, largely in private. I mean, I get that, and I guess there's the argument that within that context, something that maybe a friend would say to you is different than some random dude. But Phil frames it in this like really transactional way where it's okay if people shit on me so long as they're giving me money.
Keep pushing those boundaries as far as he possibly could, thinking that he was a big shit, basically, and he could get away with whatever.
Yeah, but that was at the 11th hour, though, Phil. I mean, there was actually a video where, like, you tiptoed into confronting him about what he said about your wife, and you gave him a pass. Also, too, there's a video that Mighty D has where you were, and this happened multiple times, it wasn't just in his video, where you would be in their kick chat in like the wee hours of the morning, text messaging them or messaging them in their chat like a teenage girl. You were gifting subs, you would go back and forth. You always say that your time, like, that was what were you doing then? You say your time is valuable. You say you're very busy, but then you were sitting there in their chat, essentially just simping. Actually, which is funny. We'll talk more about simping later, but that was very strange to me.
Sure. Well, I guess we've had a good cold open, right? I guess we'll get into it now, right? We'll actually get into like the format and what this is actually going to be. So, Rich, I have to be honest with you. All right, I'm going to be very honest with you right now.
Okay.
Okay, I do have a plan for this appearance, and it's nothing whatsoever what you think it is. Okay.
What is this? Some like Last Jedi shit? This isn't going to go the way you think it is? Well, I hope not.
But I want you to calm down. I want you to
I'm-
calm down. There's no guests coming on or anything. It's just you and me. I promise you that. Okay. No special,
Okay,
no
that's fine.
shocking twists. No, oh my God, gotcha
Even
moments.
if there was a guest, that would be fine.
Okay.
Bitchute.
Rich, do you recognize this?
Let me look on.
He's not looking. Oh, you don't see me?
Those are your poker chips, Phil. Yeah.
Correct. This is the briefcase that was used as a prop during the co-op react that I did with Kino Casino back in the summer when we watched your documentary from June the King. And basically, it was used as a way to humiliate you over the course of that event, where every time that there was something embarrassing that happened, we would take some chips out, right?
So there's something like I find with autistic people is they will start telling a story that it's very obvious the other party doesn't care about. And they can't pick up on the fact that this story isn't interesting or relevant or funny to the other person, and they will just keep going through it. Oftentimes it's something very personal, like they'll just start talking about their medical issues, they'll talk about some mundane thing from their work, and they'll just keep going on, and it's very clear that the other person is uncomfortable or bored or wants to say something. Zelensky did this when he was showing Trump all the pictures of the Ukrainian soldiers, and there's just a certain excruciating quality to it, and this is a good example of that.
And at the end, we're at the very end, you had one chip left. And I said, this is your chip. I'm going to hold on to it. And I had it on my screen back here. And everything, you know, was around this chip in the casino. And you even called it out in your content. And you said, Phil, you fool. They're not your friends, but you have their memes in your content and all of that. I'm well aware of all that stuff that you said, okay?
Which was true from the beginning. Everyone saw that coming from a mile away. You were a content mill for them.
So, okay.
As you've seen.
Fair enough. Now, I bring this up for a reason, all right? And we're going to explain it in just a moment. But I have one other question for you before I actually show you the briefcase. Okay?
He's such a bad showman. Fuck.
Okay? And the question is this.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the king snake? The animal?
Nope.
You're not?
Nope.
The king snake is a creature, a snake, that lures other snakes into its den. Dangerous snakes. Snakes that are known to already be predators. Rattlesnakes and others. The king snake uses this trick in order to make those creatures feel safe. And then the king snake surprises those creatures.
Sorry, what is the trick it uses? He didn't even explain it. The king snake, what was the... Sorry.
Is a creature, a snake, that lures other snakes into its den.
How?
Dangerous snakes. Snakes that are known to already be predators. Rattlesnakes and others. The king's
But how does he lure them in? Like, what is the... I don't get exactly what is, like, how the king snake is doing this.
snake uses this trick in order to make those creatures feel safe. And then the king snake surprises those creatures from behind and swallows them whole.
Okay, I can't even follow. So, the king snake makes a burrow, and then it lures another snake into the burrow, and then it attacks the snake from behind. But I thought the snake was in the burrow, luring the other snake into the burrow. And why would the other snake even come into the burrow? Is it like pretending to be food? Like, is it pretending to be a weak snake so that the rattlesnake... I can't even follow it. Could someone in the chat maybe say, like, I get that a king snake is a type of snake that eats other snakes. Like, I know that. I've watched Clint's Reptiles. I know what that is. I get that part of the analogy, but this whole rest of it is just, I have no idea what the fuck he's even talking about.
The king snake.
Are you swallowing me, Phil?
Hold on. The king snake eats other predators whole.
You're right, the judge. His metaphor was so bad, I forgot to say. This is the biggest cope I think I've ever seen.
After laying a trap. Okay?
This is like the level of when Zelensky said the spring offensive failed because it was leaked when he put out a trailer for it. It's like that level of cope.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the briefcase. This is Andy and Ashton's briefcase. Because, ladies and gentlemen, today on this podcast, this is not the Level 1 podcast featuring RTU.
I like how RTU has finally come face to face with his hero after all these years, and he just doesn't give a shit.
At all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Level 666 podcast, straight out of fucking hell, because today, live on the show, it is time to explain to you how over the last 8 months and the last couple of years, all of my planning has finally come to fruition. I robbed Kino Casino. I'm not kidding. I'm not
How did you rob?
fucking kidding. Everything that you have seen happen, I swear to God, has been part of my plan all along. Because all of you think I'm so fucking stupid. You all thought that this was he got fooled. He had the wool pulled over his eye.
Okay, is this the biggest cope of all time? Like, honestly, I couldn't even believe that this was... Like, okay, so let's just be honest. That was not the case at all. Phil was 100% fooled by them. So what is happening here is Phil is faced with a choice. He can either admit that he got fooled and that he was a sucker and that he pretended like that and that he got taken in, or he can do this and pretend this whole thing was some like 4D chess plan to do something. Now, for my part, I think what Phil should have done is just played the victim card. It just said, look, I thought these guys were my friends. They were fucking with me, stuff like that. And I actually probably would have felt a little bit sorry for him. I would have went, like, you have this retard who got fooled because he was desperate for friendship. He was desperate to interact with another human being, and he let himself get fooled. And I would have felt a little bit bad for him. But what he does is he's just like, no, I am a sociopath. Like, he thinks being a sociopath and proving everybody wrong, right, who's ever shit on him, is better than just admitting that he got fooled.
I 100% had this plan since day one.
Phil,
and I am going...
I
You don't believe me?
No, I don't believe you. I've been watching you now for over a decade. You were full in on this hook line, and so you called Andy your gaming soulmate.
Okay. Rich, I got the receipts. And we're going to look at them together right now on this show.
Okay.
Are you
I
ready?
would like to see these. Yes, Philip.
But isn't this like Slave Night Gale versus the Ashen one? It's just like two bums at the end of the world fighting over nothing to achieve, I don't know even what.
This is the briefcase of Andy and...
Okay, so here's another thing just to keep in mind as we go through this. And this is what makes it such a gay op. What was the goal here? Like what was Phil trying to accomplish with all of this? I don't get like what if everything had gone right, how would he have been better off?
In Ashton, and every single time that we go through a topic and I expose them for who they really are, they're going to lose a few chips. And we're going to see at the end how many chips these two had left over.
I'm going to be honest, when he did that for the RTU documentary, I thought it was kind of cute. I didn't really mind it. I thought it was kind of funny.
This feels like retcon to me, Phil, but sure, prove it to me.
Sure.
Let me see.
We're good. No worries, man. All right. So, let's get started, shall we? I'm changing my screen so if you don't, because Rich, you can't see any of this, obviously. I'm going to let you know what I'm actually doing here, and you might want to tune into the stream. It's going to be very hard for you to see, but I'm going to be reading things as well.
I'm already on the stream too.
Okay. Let me actually resize you here so that you can actually be. Here we go. So here's the funny part, folks. All this week, there's been all these threats thrown around by Kino Casino saying, God forbid that any of these private messages be leaked that I had with Phil or we had with Phil, because these private messages would be so damning.
Like, okay, so Ashton explained this. He was doing this to try to bait Phil into dropping them, because he didn't really want to drop them, because dropping DMs is kind of a scumbag move. So he was baiting Phil into do it, and Phil fell for it because Phil is retarded.
They would hurt him so bad, and man, he is hiding from it. And we're counting down to when we leak the messages. I already put the messages online. And by the end of this show, I'm going to give everyone the links, and you can all read them for yourselves in full.
We're not going to do that.
I'm not kidding. Because this was my plan all along.
This doesn't sound like 4D chess. This sounds like damage control.
There's no damage control here.
This sounds like you're just trying to get in front of what they're going to say.
There's nothing to say. As you're going to see and what we're going to go through, everything that they think they have was already planned ahead of time.
Okay, we're just going to go back and look at this again.
Gossip column? Motherfucker! Let me explain.
So that some
I fed them bullshit. Nothing. Whatchamacallit, disinformation so I could live.
So that...
Every single thing that I told them was either a lie, a half-truth, or something to buy their confidence. So they would think that over time, they would have something on me. Because the truth is, Rich, I'm tired of being pushed around. I really am. All right? I'm going to be honest with you and the internet right now. Back in 2023, when I did that Side Scrollers interview, and that interview went how it did, and I walked out of there thinking, you know, not a lot of people are going to like me. But at least that...
Those interviews make you seem disingenuous, Phil. Like, think about
Fair
how
enough.
simple...
Fair enough.
Think about how simple would have been to show... like, hey, just show me that down from, which we know is your account now, which we know you're still using, by the way. Down from the rafters is my WWE Champions account. My Sweaty Man Addiction is there. And then you were like, you know, I got to protect my family, which made no sense, Phil. That made zero sense. How does showing a username in a game, that's the equivalent of like showing a gamer tag on like your Xbox Series X. And you said, and then you when you had him on the show.
Like, guys, if we're going to go into the DMs and the shit that Phil admits, he is a psycho. Like, I didn't realize he was this evil a person, but...
No. And he said, I forget the exact wording. I just thought of this now. I do have notes, by the way, but he was like, so you weren't telling the truth. And you said to him, it doesn't matter if I was telling the truth or not. It's still an answer.
That's right. Because I wasn't there to give them some kind of an insane, truthful expose on anything. The whole idea was I give you an interview. Doesn't matter if you like it or not, but I'll give you an interview. And then we're supposed to actually continue on with content.
It's so pedantic. It's so, like, not getting the point. And I've dealt with people like this. Like, when he was talking to, what was his name again? the guy from Truth Seekers, and he just said, Phil, based on my findings, there's a 99.99% chance that you did this. That these bank leaks are legitimate. And he's like, yeah, but do you have like a photo of me doing it? And it's just this very pedantic, Rekieta does this too.
Supposed to be a regular guest on their show.
I don't know if he's that dumb or it's just feigned ignorance or intellectual dishonesty that he doesn't get the implication of things.
Which was actually the original premise of being on it, is that I was going to be on there, add my 2 cents towards topics and everything, get some exposure, maybe bring some viewers over to my channel. Some of my viewers go to their channel. They didn't give me that respect because after the interview, they decided to make endless amounts of content for weeks to months about me, crapping on me and making tons of money. And the problem is that negates the whole premise of the interview. An interview is supposed to be, you just ask questions, you give answers, and then the audience has to judge for themselves. Not right after the interview ends, the interviewers say, oh, well, that whole thing was bullshit. We don't like that guy and he's an asshole. Don't believe him. You've completely disingenuously conducted that interview if that's how you behave yourself after, in my opinion. So
Phil, every radio show or talk show has after shows about the guests that they have on, and you weren't truthful, so their take on you was right. So I'm not really sure where you're coming from with that. Like,
fair enough, but that's not even what we're here for today, okay? And I get it. We already argued about the side scrollers thing for ages. They're not even the topic of discussion here.
Then why did you bring them up?
Thing, I had enough. I said, I've had enough of people on the internet always constantly using me as the butt of their joke, talking about me, using me to make money, and doing everything they possibly can in order to kind of...
He just has, there's just this complete lack of human emotion in his voice. And I know I have an irregular prosody and I kind of sound monotone, but I like to think I can put at least a little bit of emotion or a little bit of, implication in my voice. Phil just speaks in this autistic monotone.
To, mess with me and just get over on my behalf. And I realized at that point, the only way that I was going to be able to change things was to actually do something for myself. But there's no way that I could actively do it publicly. Because if I did it publicly, then everyone would just laugh. Because everyone thought I was a big meme and a big joke, right? And to some extent, people still do. I got a little bit more of a boost since, the last 8 months, but not much. But what no one...
So... Your big plan didn't achieve anything, I guess is what he's saying. He's like, well, I didn't actually get a boost from the last 6 months, but I did this big plan.
Realized is that I decided for myself to do something with initiative. And I said, I want to try to actually get over on one of these people who's one of these content creators who's constantly a misery broker. And I know you've heard me say that before, but I think a misery broker is someone who literally doesn't make content for themselves. All they do is they look at other people's misery, they report on it, they make fun of it, they laugh at it, and then they make a bunch of money. So a day when it's a bad day for someone else is a good day for them. But in reality, if it weren't for other people, they wouldn't be able to ever have any popularity. It's the only reason they get anything.
So what you're saying, this whole entire thing for your casino arc was 4D chess that you were playing them to the point that you would hurt your own reputation and career?
Rich, not only that, I cased probably 6 or 7 different individuals who I thought I could maybe get in their good graces.
Did he just admit that the whole thing... because Rich asked him, did you do this to ruin your career? And Phil said yes.
Figure out how to get in on it and see what would happen. And after looking at all of these different people, all right, someone in my chat one day had said, did you hear about Kino Casino? Did you hear that they're also making fun of Review Tech? Just like you are, or just like he's making fun of you and back and forth. And did you hear that they're constantly making fun of him in their content? Okay? And I said, no, I don't know anything about these guys. I didn't. But
sure.
I went over there and I actually watched their content once. And I knew from the first moment that I started watching their show, this was going to be the one that was going to work if I was going to try to make this happen. Okay?
Yeah, because Ashton's an actual entertainer. He actually has charisma. And you're just the most boring dude who's ever lived.
Now, Rich, I'm going to be honest with you again. You have unwittingly been a part of this since day one. Because you were the reason that I contacted them. You were the reason why I affiliated with them. The whole co-op, react to your documentary.
At least that's one thing that Andy said was true. I wasn't as unwitting as you think, but yes. Ashton kept on saying that you went to him. Now I see that is actually accurate. Okay.
You're gonna see it's accurate because I'm gonna show you all of it. I have it all right here, and we're gonna look at it together. But I just need everyone to understand what the premise is and what's going on here.
Is this like a schizophrenic breakdown? Now, I've heard that narcissism can degenerate into schizophrenia, and maybe that's what's happening here. But this is just insane.
That the whole idea was to get in the good graces of the casino, to find a way to collab that was going to get me over, that was going to get me some popularity, make me some money, but also at the same time, make them think I'm some kind of a fucking idiot, so that they will always think that I'm indebted to them, that I'm always going to do what they say, because I know how they are. Let's be honest here. We know Ashton. We know Andy. These guys are not squeaky clean. These guys have burned every bridge. They don't have friends. They can't have friends.
Yet you were still absolutely dying to work with them, though.
Oh, not dying to work with them. They were a means for me to finally get out of the position that I was in, being the whipping boy of the internet. And that was the intention from day one.
I still have no idea what his plan was. So, could someone in the chat explain it? What was it that Phil wanted to accomplish? Did he want money? Did he want notoriety? Did he want to just own someone so that he could get a win for a sec? Like, I don't understand. Okay, so I'm gonna do what I normally do, and people, my friend Torellian calls this pulling an Argent, where I can't accept something as stupid as it is, so I try to make it sense in my mind by being overly charitable. Now, if Phil's plan was, I'm going to reach out to these guys because they have a popular show, and they know how to make money, and I'll jump on with them, and I'll pretend that I'm their friend, and I'll go along with whatever their thing is, and I'll make a bunch of cash off of it. That is an actual plan. That actually kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense, but that doesn't seem like that was his plan.
One, everything that I laid out, every conversation I had with them, every late night bullshit session I had with them when I should have been asleep, every time I was on their streams kissing their butt, throwing them super memberships or whatever, was all part of this. And they think they have something on me. They're insane. How they didn't know.
They do.
How they didn't know that everything I was saying was fake, I don't know. Because, I'll give you some examples here. I said...
Okay, what do you think the examples are going to be, guys? These examples are insane.
My wife was sick, and she had found God, and now because of that, I can't do this idea that you came up with. And they bought it. I said, my rabbit is sick, so I can't do the show today. My mom is sick, so I have to fly. I keep saying sick, like every excuse was someone's sick. Yet they bought it every time. Every fucking time.
Or you were just nervous to go do it, so you canceled on it.
So the defense is, I'm not retarded. I'm a sociopath who told people that my wife had cancer, and my rabbit died, and my parents had cancer. And that was his... That's his cope. That is what he thinks is less bad than admitting that he was fooled. And, like, dude, that's fucked. Like, it's beyond... Like, this is the worst thing he's ever done. And, like, you can believe Ashton and Andy or not, but they legitimately felt bad for him. And I do believe that when I do, unless you're a complete monster, if a guy comes to you and he says, look, my wife has terminal cancer, he also said that he wanted to have kids, but his wife had issues with having children, so Jasper was the son he knew he could never have. and Ashton actually felt sorry for him and was trying to like help him. And it's I don't know. This is just.
But the point I'm making here is I basically manipulated them as much as I could to make them do what I wanted. I got what I wanted. And then when I knew they were going to eventually turn on me, because we all knew that from the get-go, right? We knew they were going to turn.
That's kind of just gross, too, Phil. You would say that your family members were sick to get out of doing things with them?
Oh,
to get a one-up on them?
No. It's not to get out of doing things with them. It's to basically have a way to make them believe that everything I'm saying is true. Because no one is going to think that someone's going to just pull that out of their ass. But to beat a snake, you have to be the better snake, Rich. It's the only way to do it. You have to make them believe the lies. And man, did I pull the wool over their eyes for the last 8 months until finally I had enough. And the truth is, I had enough for 2 reasons. Number 1, the disrespect to my family. And number 2, because I wasn't getting anything out of the collaboration anymore. These guys, all right, have some of the worst ideas I've ever seen for content. They were pitching ideas that would have worked, but they didn't have any clout to make the ideas happen. They legitimately couldn't make anything work that would have made us money.
Phil, they have like 20 times your viewership.
It was cancellation, denial, cancellation, denial, after. It was like endless.
Phil, I'm not a fan of the casino, but they did have the clout and the money to make things happen.
Like, if we look at, sorry, I know it's at a weird. Phil gets like 200 live viewers. Phil's replay, like, so the on-demand or whatever you want to call them videos, Phil does with 250,000 subs or however many he has, get the same number of views as like just a random video all put up, like a UCU video or a video about the Sopranos or something like that. Like, let me just see here. And I'm a tiny channel. Okay, so the video I put up, The Importance of Image or Examining Trump Zelensky from a Mafia Context, got 1,600 views, which is more than like anything Phil's done in the last month. So, like, I don't know.
Happen. I think the only person believing this in this stream right now is you. I don't,
Rich.
I mean, how do you do so? You're trying to tell me to believe that for the past 8 months, when you were sitting there gifting them subs, simping for them like hours upon hours on end, trying to get them to pay attention to you, like they were Beavis and Butthead and you were Stewart, that this was all some big plan to get vengeance on people that if you never affiliated with, you would be in a better position than you are now. You went, Phil, it's just a fact. You saw that there was an opportunity there. They feigned friendship with you. You called Andy Worski your gaming soulmate. You were so into all this to the point that you let them shame you. And now in the end, after all is said and done, you come out on the other end looking worse, and you're trying to
how is Rich having this level of self-awareness? It's kind of surreal. I think that Rich took like Adderall or something, or I don't know, but he's like randomly actually thinking properly for once.
Come on, Phil.
Rich, I could never possibly come out at the end of anything looking worse. You understand that, right? Like, I have been the joke of the internet for over a decade. No one listens to me. Even when I have valid things to say, they do that stupid meme that's like, oh, the guy that you hate the most or the worst guy you know finally made a good comment, right? So
no, but like, Phil, I've defended you over the years. I've always said that you're not a good person, but I've said that I feel bad for you because the people who go after you, a lot of them are insane. Like, a lot of them are legitimately, like, they do illegal stuff. They hack your bank account, it's stuff like that. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't support any of that. And the degree to which people hate you and kind of obsess over you, I feel sorry for you a bit for that. I feel sorry for the fact that you're stuck in, like, basically hell. Your life is a misery. You can't move forward. You can't move backward. It's really sad and tragic the life that this man leads. And I did feel bad for him. And I thought he didn't deserve the degree of hate that he got. But now he's saying that he pretended his wife had cancer to fuck with someone just because he could. Like,
Oh, there's
it makes you look way worse.
nothing to lose. There was only anything to gain. My viewers don't give two shits about the drama
They do.
at all.
do.
They don't want the drama. And that's why when it starts
So then why did you do the drama?
to get to the point where these guys wanted me to completely change who I was, all of my content into drama content, that's when I basically broke it off, and they completely lost their minds because they're so angry that I was the one in charge of the situation all along and not them. All right? Enough of
No,
us
you weren't.
chatting about this. And you, by the
You
way,
weren't in charge of the situation. You absolutely weren't. But
you,
okay.
you feel free to go ahead. You feel free to chime in. I'm okay with this. All right? You feel free to chime in whenever you want. But the reason you're here is very simple. I want you to witness this going down, okay? And you were the one who basically started the whole thing with me reaching out to them and us reacting to your documentary, excuse me. So it's only fair that you be a part of this. You understand where I'm coming from? You think that that's a fair thing to have you here?
Sure, Phil. Let's see what you got, boy. Let's see.
All right. So it's already been said. I didn't realize that they had said this, but we'll go ahead and we'll show it anyway. And by the way, because now I'm going to start showing stuff, everybody. FYI, at the very end of this show, I am going to give you all the links to the raw files that contain all of the DMs between myself, PPP, and Andy, so you can all read them in the entirety for yourself. All right? So that way there's no shock. There's oh, look, he hid something. He edited anything. I've edited nothing. This is all 100% unedited. You're going to be able to watch, and appropriately, they're all nicely in PDF files, which makes sense since those guys have been sweeping for PDFs for quite some time. So now you can read all their logs for yourself online. Okay, so so we start off with the very first time that I ever talked to them. And this, I guess they've already admitted to this, that it was me that reached out to them, okay, in a DM, basically saying, hey, you know, is this the host of Kino Casino? I'm trying to find a way to talk to the guys, but I can't find anything official, okay? And so we had a conversation back and forth. Of course, the first thing we're talking about is you, Rich. I saw your vid about Review Tech threatening June the King. Today I have my take on it on my podcast. And I basically...
Like, he has such bad showmanship. There's just no passion. There's no, like, humor.
basically used you as the way to bridge that gap and get that initial introduction with these guys. In fact, the whole idea of us doing...
So you're the Batman. You're the Batman of drama merchants, going selflessly to take them down.
You can call it whatever you want. You know, you really can. But the point here is, I was the one who initiated the contact. I was the one who actually suggested the react to your documentary. They had kind of alluded to it on their show, but they never thought it would happen because they never spoken to me before. So I contacted them and I said...
I mean, unironically, I think there is a distinct possibility for Rich. Just because of, like, the bikini pictures of his ex-wife's children that he had in his porn folder, and just how obsessed with weird sexual shit he is.
Let's do it. This is a genius idea. I knew that was going to make money for both of us. I knew that was going to be big. It was going to bring me notoriety. It was going to bring them notoriety. I'm the one who put that great idea out there and made it happen.
By the way, just once sorry, I'll try not to pause so much. How do you suck so much that Rich from your View Tech USA, a literal sloth given human form, is able to run circles around you?
Happen. All right? It was me, not them. It was my actual making it happen that started this whole thing and got this popularity train rolling. Now, there's a few pages here and us going back and forth.
Okay, Phil, I got a pin to pop on this. Here's what I think.
Go ahead.
I think you just your hate boner for me was throbbing. You saw that they were wiping the fucking floor with me, and you wanted in on it. And when they embraced you and treated you like one of the whack pack on Howard Stern. You got a taste of more money. You thought they feigned friendship with you, which you bought into. At least is what it seems like. No, better yet, I think it was friendship, and I think you saw that you were getting money. So you, like, your nose was Andy Worski's asshole now must be spread out maybe like another 2 inches because your nose was so deep in there. Like, what I think you're doing now, as a matter of fact, I guarantee what you're doing now is because you know that this is disastrous for you, that you're trying to be like, aha, all along, it was my master plan. It was not your master plan, Phil. It wasn't. And look, that's fine, but I'm just not going to believe it. I don't think anybody with like a upper double-digit IQ will believe it.
So we have 2 files here, and I'm just seeing if I can.
I like how Phil just completely ignored that utter breakdown.
Actually show you. So I don't know if you can see them on the screen, everybody. Here, I'm going to try to get this here. So this is the file of me talking with Andy in DMs. Okay, this is all of them, back to back, 182 kilobytes. The one of me talking with PPP, 1,031 kilobytes. Why?
When did you make these, Phil? Right click on them, go to properties. When is the origin date of these?
Where's properties on here? There you go.
You right click on whatever file you're clicking on.
Just made them a couple days ago. Here it is. I got them off of my X archives, and I used a third-party app to turn them into PDF files so that we could actually see them today, because or else you have to be in a web browser to see them. So the point I'm making why I brought that up is I almost never talk to Andy at all. Almost never. Andy is kind of the guy from what I'm to understand. He's the tech guy, all right? He's the guy that gets everything together, that the data runs the show. But PPP is the guy who actually gets the ideas, talks to people, wrangles them in, etc. I talk to PPP about 40,000 times more than I ever talk to Andy, and it's hilarious because the internet has this misconception that like I'm bros with Andy and we always talk behind the scenes about games. We almost never talked at all. I have endless folders here of me talking to PPP about all the stuff we did. I have a tiny folder of the few things I ever talked to Andy about. It's just a complete fallacy. But that's what people want to believe because they want to think that like I was his best friend or something. Andy, I'll be honest, I think that PPP is kind of the brains, while Andy is just kind of the operations. You know what I'm saying? Like, never did Andy contact me about an idea.
No shit. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Andy knows like how to make money, and Andy knows how to do the tech stuff, and Ashton has the content and the charisma. That's why their show works, because they complement each other.
Never was he the go-between. It was always PPP who was the guy who was talking to me about everything the entire time. Okay? So what I'd like to do...
It was you. What would you like to do, Phil? You were the ones who were trying to make it like they were your best. So you're saying even when you defended them and went to bat for them with the numerous clips that are out there, and on your own channel I've seen them, because you always say it's always the track, when they're like, oh, they're just razzing me. This was... So you were humiliating yourself to get like a master plan of vengeance back on them?
I 1,000,000% knew they were going to turn on me eventually. There was no way they were never going to, because they've done it to everyone. They've burned every bridge. They do whatever they need for personal gain. And everyone knows this. Like you said, you knew it. Everyone else knew it. But everyone apparently thought I was the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. I'm not. I knew exactly what was going on from day one. They seemed to be the only ones who didn't get it. They thought I was that dumb.
Or you were desperate.
There's a difference between desperation and actually finally taking control of your destiny, which I decided to do for once instead of just being stomped on all day by everybody.
The best way to take control of your destiny is to not get yourself involved in that. The best way to take control of your destiny is to do rewards for your audience that isn't you eating pizza. Like those are ways to control your destiny. The way to control your destiny is to make content that's more entertaining. You could say I'm a clown, I'm a buffoon, all you want to, but me getting the tattoo of you near my left ass cheek as you as Dracula from Castlevania is bizarre. Maybe it's a little gay too, that's okay, but it's like people want entertainment. And right now, you're not. I know we're going a little off topic here. You're not offering it. Did you see the video where someone said that you the middle manager, Phil? Did you see that video?
Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a bit.
That the reward for your audience is to watch you eat something that they could.
We have several topics to choose from. All right, we do. I would like to let you choose a topic that we can delve into first. Okay, which topic would you like to delve into? We've got Mudahar.
It's like some retarded kid who's like learned a card trick and he's like, pick a card, any card.
It's a Gundam, which is a nice one because apparently It's a Gundam was coming on their show on Friday. So you'd be interested to see what she has to say about him.
Shout out to It's a Gundam. He's my dude. Continue.
Medicare and how they basically ball suck this guy constantly and think that he's the end all be all of content. 2 entire folders of their incredibly awful ideas that I had to keep shutting down because they were so bad. PPP incredibly embarrassing himself because he actually thought that like we were like bosom buddies or possibly he's gay. I'm not sure. We'd have to see there. And then basically how it fell apart. Also things that they said about Keemstar that I think you'll find pretty interesting. Or we could just look at the very few things that I talked about with Warski because we barely ever spoke. I'm telling you, like it was such minuscule stuff.
I gotta be honest, I don't think I've ever watched an It's a Gundam video.
Where would you like to begin?
Are any of those as embarrassing as when you pressure your audience to donate so your wife doesn't have to cook dinner?
Oh, they're actually way more embarrassing because I do that publicly as an act to entertain while these things were done behind the scenes in good confidence.
What a cope. What a galaxy tier cope. I pretend to beg for money as a character.
So that's the difference.
All right, so you know what, Phil? Show me something, man. Show me. I want you to show me why you called Strangely Lex a slut too. When I show more skin, as a matter, I show more skin than she.
That's not in here because that just happened recently. We didn't even talk about that behind the scenes. We only talked.
Okay, people keep giving shit for like one of the few base things Phil's done lately. So I don't know. It's some like bisexual streamer or something. And I think people were advertising her in his chat or something, and he called her a slut, and he said that she was a fake bisexual, that she was just pretending to be that as like a fantasy for her male friends, for male fans, and I'm just like, I will admit that is my one gripe, one of my few big gripes with Ashton, is I don't like it when, despite being like a far-right edgelord himself, he plays the like offended, like I'm social liberal, how dare Phil say something homophobic or transphobic. I get that it's an act. I get that it's making fun of the fact that Phil pretends to be like this positivity, this ally, whatever the term is at the moment. But I just feel like that's, I don't know. I don't want to shit on Phil for doing something kind of cool.
About that on the show. So what you've seen there on, Smart Guys.
There's nothing to see.
There was nothing behind the scenes to talk about. So.
That was just you being salty, but okay.
So what would you like to talk about here? Or should I just pick one? By the way, for the record, everyone's telling me to just dump you from the show because you've already derailed it so poorly and they just want me to do this for myself. But I'm keeping you on here out of good faith. So what would you like to do?
Phil, you have over 1,300 viewers right now. I'm not seeing, and the only one seeing is maybe because a couple people want Ethan Ralph to come on, but no one's saying to dump me from the show. This is the most viewership. Like, you would need to do like 6 streams to get this much viewership.
They're not here for you, though, Rich. They're not here for you. I hate to tell you.
So you get this much viewership every day?
No, it's because I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I mean, you being on this, I'm doing this as a service to you because I did use you as the way to get this entire arc started. So I felt like it would be a respectful thing to do to have you on the show while I go through this. But I mean, if you're not interested,
press 1 if you want me to stay. Press 2 if you want me to go.
So I mean, if you're not interested, if you just want to talk about mics and shit, we could do that on another show. But that would not be this one. Okay.
Okay, you can't see the chat, but it's an ocean of ones.
So what would you like to do?
It's Phil. There's mostly ones here, Phil. There's only a handful of twos.
Okay. Are you going to pick a topic, or do I pick, or do I dump you from the show? Those are the three options. You pick, I pick, or you get dumped. What would you like to do?
You could pick a topic, and then I'll pick the next one. How about that? Let me ask you a question. Oh, no, here's a good one. You keep on saying, even recently, in a video you just made a few weeks ago, that I'm on drugs when I don't even take edibles anymore. I haven't for the past 5 months. Why?
What a cope. No, Dickers, you're always on drugs. You're a drug addict.
I believe that. I do believe that you're off drugs. Right now, you seem pretty coherent and clear, so, absolutely, that's true.
Now,
you're definitely not on drugs.
You just, yeah. This wasn't even a month ago. It was February 24th. You've even said that I drank weed seltzers. Why would you say things that aren't true, that you don't know about?
From what I've seen on your streams, you were drinking weed seltzers in the past. I don't know specifically what you're referencing, so I can't answer.
Phil, I've never had a weed seltzer in my entire life.
So I didn't know that. Do you want me to pick a topic, or are you going to pick one?
You can pick it.
Is he just trying to gaslight Phil? I mean, we've seen him. Whatever.
Didn't know that, but you went with it, though.
All
okay.
right.
Continue.
So we'll start at the beginning. The whole point here, and this is what I want you guys to understand, is when I started working with the casino, all right, the big idea was the co-op react to Rich's documentary. And that was the gold mine, and we all knew it, right?
Co-op react is such a bizarre DSP-ism.
We knew this was going to be the big one, right? And then after that happened, it's like, well, what are we going to do next? And for me, it's like, well, you guys know what I can do. I play games. I can do that. So anything gaming related, I'm down for it. But they said, well, we're the drama guys, right? We're going to come up with all these ideas of guests and things that you're going to interact with. So the very first one they had is, let's hit right now. Let's strike when the iron is hot. Let's actually get Mudahar to do a co-op with us. We're going to do Chain Together with Mudahar, who's talked about you over and over the years. And it's going to be epic. It's going to be so awesome that Mudahar is going to be in the content, okay? And so here it is. We thought that we would do Chain Together, and, they say Mudahar is going to be in it because he's like the biggest guy in their Rolex, okay? I'm just paraphrasing.
Isn't it a Rolodex? A Rolex is a watch. It's a Rolodex.
Because we don't want to read word for word here. Like I said, I'm going to drop the files at the end of the show so everyone can read them for themselves, word for word. That's why there's dates and everything here, okay? There was a little bit of nonsense, and it was my fault because accidentally I didn't even know I had Mudahar blocked on Twitter, and I already publicly apologized for that. I didn't know that. So here's what ends up happening. After hyping this up that we're going to do Chain Together with Mudahar, Mudahar cancels last second. Like, literally last second. Now, doesn't tell me why.
Okay, I'm going to jump ahead. This is really fucking boring.
Okay? He's definitely... What ends up happening, after hyping this up that we're going to do Chili last, but says, well, we'll try to reschedule, is politics. Okay? And then here, well, I'm trying to find it. He basically says, I think that... Oh, this is Josh Moon. He says that basically the detractors contacted Mudahar en masse, and he thinks that he pussied out because your detractors contacted him. That's what PPP says. Okay?
Screen share that link that I sent you. I want you to explain it to me.
I'm not screen sharing any links. We're not doing any bullshit that you want to do. It's not your show.
Why is you not doing? It's not my show, but you brought me on.
All right. So
I think Phil, I think you thought this is going to be like some like battered wife. Like, yes, let's go. I don't care about I really don't give a shit. I don't care about.
Right.
Okay. So I guess we'll continue on. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. I tried, everyone. Really, I did. I tried to make it entertaining. That man is not entertaining in any way, shape, or form. I really wanted to give it an honest shake, but he's an idiot. Okay? Wow. I mean, he really did not want to play ball. He did not want to have any fun. That guy is a loser. That's sad, because I was trying. I mean, not that I want to be that guy's best friend or anything, but I mean, holy shit, dude. Like, that was pathetically bad. Like, why can't you just shut up and just ride what we're doing here and go with the idea? But what else can I say? I mean, that was awful.
It was awful, Phil.
Okay. So, let's continue on, everybody. All right? So,
I think I missed there was like some big thing where Vic Dickers was just like was just blowing him out, but I
Next,
think I missed it.
ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware, one of the big things that's going on right now with the casino is that they're threatening that on Friday, they're going to drop all the logs, which I've already done, and I'm going to give you guys the link in a second, so you're going to have them
So
for yourself.
dumb.
All right? But they're going to have It's a Gundam on this Friday. It's going to be amazing because It's a Gundam and PPP are going to team up, and they're going to destroy DSP. Boy, I bet you guys are going to be really
Why is he referring to himself in the third person? That's kind of cringe.
interested about what they had to say about It's a Gundam just a few months ago, because after we had the situation with Mudahar, okay, we had the situation with It's a Gundam. Now you guys aren't aware of this because they never publicly announced it or even talked about it at all. All right? So let's take a quick look. It's actually better because you guys will be able to see the logs a lot better now. So
I can't fucking see the logs because your face is in the way.
this is PPP trying to contact me about a really, this will be a great show to have It's a Gundam on, all right? See, we have him lined up if you want it. It's a potential mega show with the size of his audience and the hype that's built for years around the meeting. Worski knew him for years. We could probably control it enough, but he is a detractor through and through and will be trying to score points. I think he has very little charisma or ability to live format, especially in a 3v1 scenario. So the first time that we even talk about It's a Gundam, they're actually insulting him, saying that he has no real charisma. In a live scenario, this guy will die, right? I think it's very easy to paint him as a spurg and a miserable alcoholic who hates his life.
So does Phil just have no ability, like, to detect lies? Like, does he just believe absolutely everything somebody says at face value?
And is pissing it away. It's a big limelight, and it's a live scenario. We have him agreed, and it's an easy booking. And basically I said, yeah, this guy, has been desperate to come at me for years and years and years. He's been in Andy's DMs from day one, begging for your blood. We told him to fuck off about 3 times, but he just keeps asking. He tried to talk us out of doing shows with you from the beginning. Wow, this sounds like an amazing collaboration, right?
I think It's a Gundam has like 800,000 views, so it would be a good collab.
So I agreed to do it. And then immediately PPP says, oh, I'll be honest, I didn't think you were going to say yes. That's the show that we're going to make as soon as possible. We will have over 10,000 people watching live, guaranteed. All right? The biggest show any of us has ever done. I'm not kidding. It will make us all 1 million views. And I'm like, really? You think so? Slot out a couple of hours. He's desperate. He's obsessed. He's definitely going to do it. All right? So basically, PPP is running It's a Gundam through the dirt here. All right? Our audience loves more than anything on Earth a live confrontation between two people.
This is like the most autistic thing I've ever heard. Like, what? Phil didn't... it's just the lack of... I don't know.
So he's still trying to sell it to me. He says, I'm maybe even undervaluing it. If you insult him about his drinking and hiring prostitutes, I think he will spiral. Keep in mind, I don't even know anything about It's a Gundam. At all. Nothing. I know nothing about this man. This is the first time I'm even
Right.
learning anything personal about him. I know nothing about my detractors. So he's
Dude, you know everything about your detractors.
sitting here telling me he's a drunk. He likes whores. He's a loser. He's going to fall apart on the show, and we're going to 3v1 this guy, and we're going to destroy him, right? And I'm like, Jesus. I mean, if this is really what they want, you know what I'm saying? If this is really what they want, I guess I'll do it. Okay, so I agreed to it. Maybe the correct play is just to let him do his spiel. It'll expose himself. Don't treat him seriously at all. Let him do a tantrum. Right? I'll do more research on him. This seems like easy pickings. So he is...
Okay, so basically Phil's retarded for this part. He didn't get that PPP was pretend it was... I don't even think I have to explain this to anyone with 2 brain cells.
wanted it to blow up and it didn't. Okay? So it is what it is, but the point is they keep coming up with some of the most half-assed cockamamie ideas over and over. And they keep telling me to do them, and I'm like, are you crazy? This shit isn't gonna work.
Streaming with a guy with 800,000 subs? I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea to me.
So just a couple more dumb ideas that they came up with that didn't come to fruition. Then we're gonna talk about, you guys are talking about the whole PPP thing, offering me a trip to Florida. Oh, you'll like this one. You'll like that one. And then, because I'm gonna show you the truth about that. We got so much to go through, but the thing is, I don't know if we'll have enough time to go through all of it, but I think you're seeing the point here, but we'll get to the end.
I don't think anyone's seeing the point, Phil. I don't think a single human is.
You'll understand how this all, actually came to the end as it did. So what's the next big idea? Well, man, we're kind of running out of ideas. We get Frank Hassel to come.
This all actually came to the end as it did. That is like Shakespeare right there.
Is it you? No. Frank Hassel, the guy who infamously harasses people to get content, who went to Boogie's house, who does all this stuff and basically has no boundaries. Of course I don't want Frank Hassel to be involved in, because then he's going to start doing all that stuff, right? So obviously this is not a good idea, but this is their harebrained ideas. Frank Hassel, let's get him to...
Or they just think it'll be funny. I mean, there's also that option, Phil, that they just think it'll be funny and you can do an interesting stream together, and these people have more views than you.
Show up, right, and do either content or show up at your house, right? Like, no, I don't. I'm not gonna have that happen. Now, just to clarify, because this has happened years ago too, I just got to clarify for the purpose of this video, folks. I live in a private community for a reason. I live on a private road. It's gated, all right? No one is allowed to come into this community without permission from one of the residents, okay? If you come onto this property and you're not actually supposed to be here, we call the police and you get trespassed off the property and removed. I would never, ever let someone harass me or ever at my house. I would just stay inside, call the police, and send people off to jail where they belong. It's that simple, okay? So never was I going to get involved with someone like Frank Hassel regardless. It never was going to happen. But, I mean, this is the harebrained cockamamie scheme that these guys are coming...
I don't know, Phil. That's, not that crazy. To be honest, I don't even really know who Frank Hassel is.
...up with. You know what I'm saying? This is your genius.
I sometimes feel like Grandpa Argent because I don't know. I just don't know who any of these people are.
Plan of what you want me to do next, okay? Now, I'm trying to remember if the next one is... Oh, let's see. This is... Oh, yeah. So...
Just no showmanship, at all.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, just for the record, he did say... It's a Hail Mary that would get a lot of eyeballs if you had Hassel, show up. My audience would go A-ship to see him on the show. He says, if you don't open the door and call the cops, it would be a massive win. So basically, what he's saying is he wants to have Hassel show up so I can call the cops and Hassel can go to jail.
I mean, it would be funny. That would be good content. I'm not going to lie. No, I know that Frank Hassel's the guy Boogie shot at. I know that, and I saw him, he got into a fight with Ralph, I think, once. But I barely know who he is beyond just that very low level.
Why would you do that? Why would you want him to show up and go to jail? So that's what I mean. The stuff he's coming up with is just so ludicrous, right? Why would I want to participate in this?
Because it would be entertaining.
Okay.
It would be something somebody actually wants to watch.
So anyway, continuing on. He basically wants to... What is this? Some magician he wanted to get on the show or something like that? Who I've never even heard. A guy with puppets and magicians. Oh, wait. This is Steven. This is the first time he told me about Stephen Cambion. All right? Or Cambion. Now, you want to talk about another bad idea, all right? For those who don't know, Steve Cambion, who is the guy who runs that Truth Seekers show, who they've had on their show a couple of times, does the UFO stuff, all right? he basically tries to expose people who are lying about UFOs and extraterrestrials and stuff like that. So he pitches to me that I should do an interview, but I should interview Steve on my show, all right? And I'm like, I don't think that this is something that would make sense because, why would he be on my show? I'm not even interviewing people anymore, but maybe I would do it anyway. I would do them the favor. The thing is, we kind of got busy with doing like Smart Guys.
I mean, like, I don't know. It doesn't seem that weird to me. Like, why don't you do like a goofy live stream with some other guy? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem that weird to me. Maybe I'm crazy, but it's like, Phil, we have this other friend. Why don't you have him on?
And stuff like that. Okay. And then eventually what ends up happening is PPP contacts me behind the scenes and gets me to do this interview with Steve.
Okay, so Phil's just retarded. Okay, so we're just going to jump ahead a bit.
Into thinking that if I had Keemstar on my show that it was going to be like an aggressive thing and I was going to destroy him or whatever. All right? So, here he is. God bless you, fuck Keem. I honestly thought just a little bit after his apology maybe something fun could happen with him, but he's truly a piece of shit. Right? And then we were talking about when Keem was on the drunk stream or whatever. So, here's an interesting one. All right? All I'm going to say about this one, because this is not one for me to fully talk about, all right? Because I'm not the only person involved in this one, all right? But basically, back in the fall, okay, an opportunity was presented to do content, all right? An interesting piece of content at that likely would have worked, likely would have actually gotten big attention, big support, all right?
Yeah, you fucked it up.
Now, it just so happened that this idea was presented when I was on my day off. So I didn't even know that it was going on because I was spending time with my family, etc. This is what happened behind the scenes that day. Before I even had a chance to do anything, I get a private message from PPP. Keem added you to a group chat without talking to me first or without me talking to you first? Wait, why does he have to talk to you first? I don't get it, right? Why does Dad have to talk to you first? I'm...
What, like, is he having a stroke? Like, I don't even... Okay.
The person involved. I'm the one who's getting an offer. Why does he have to... Are you my agent? Are you my dad? Like, why would that... I don't even understand that. He's, like, interjecting me into this, all right? So there you go, all right? So then... I'm not happy with how fast Keem tries to move things. The moment an idea is floated, but it can be big for everyone. Honestly, we should talk about this, but blah, blah, blah. You should stall. So again, I haven't really had a chance to even read anything or do anything.
Okay, let's go ahead.
I was always the butt of the joke when it came to Hogan, because it was Phil's pulling Hogan's in WWE Champions, the mobile game, right? That was always the thing. Well, guess what? This guy is a much bigger mark for wrestling than I ever have been. This guy is a huge mark for Hogan. I mean, in the first episode or second episode of Smart Guys, he shows off that he bought all these collector's belts. He bought the Hogan belt. He bought a Bret Hart belt. He spent all this money on belts. So what the fuck is he talking about? He's the one who loves Hogan and sucks his balls, talks about him.
So this is the big plan is like PPP bought some wrestling belts
all the time. Like, he was a very small part of one episode of Raw, and he just kept bringing them up every fucking week. So what he says is, I would pay for her to come too, and we'll...
Okay, let's go. So this is, I think, the Florida thing.
Hogan and sucks his balls, talks about him all the time. Like, he was a very small part of one episode of Raw, and he just kept bringing him up every fucking week. I was like, dude, why are you doing that? Why? No one cares about Hogan. He's not even part of the show, really, right? Well, it all came to fruition when this happened. Out of the blue, Hey, Phil, when was the last time you got to go on a vacation or a trip? I know this might be beyond your comfort zone, but Hulk Hogan has a bar in Tampa Bay called Hogan's Hangout. And for the Super Bowl this year, he's going to be at the bar with a bunch of other wrestler friends. I think I'm going to fly down for the event and rent a table. I want to offer you to pay for your flight and hotel if you want to come down for the weekend. We could drink and hang out, and you could film videos, and it would be a tax write-off. You know, I know it's crazy, but it's something fun that we could do. And maybe we could meet Hogan. Okay? Now, you might say,
That sounds like a pretty fun time. I mean, I'm not a wrestling guy, but free trip to Florida. Watch the well, I don't watch the Super Bowl, but I don't know. For Phil, that sounds like that would be a fun time. And this is like his got him.
does that sound like a paid vacation for Phil and his family?
Yes.
No, because it's not. All right? I had been talking with these guys for months. All right? Night after night, behind the scenes, making them feel like I'm their friend, building up confidence. Particularly PPP was the one who I talked to the most. All right? And out of nowhere, we had never had any plans to ever do anything, you know, in person. We never, you know, oh, let's hang out or nothing. Never. It was, you know, it's a business relationship. It's supposed to be work, right? All of a sudden, he takes it to the next level, all right? And I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I see something like this, I actually felt bad because it's two things. Number one, it definitely means that the trick worked. That even though these guys at a moment's notice are ready to snake me, no matter what, because everyone knew that from the start, right? Everyone knew they were going to turn on.
Like, he's so dumb. It's kind of unbelievable. This whole thing is fascinating, to be honest. Okay, so but Phil, if you had have taken the free trip to Florida and met Hulk Hogan, wouldn't have that been like the W? Wouldn't that have been part of the payoff? Like, wouldn't that show that you successfully manipulated them to give you stuff? I mean, wasn't that the whole point of this?
On me no matter what. All right? We knew that. But number two, if he's offering me this, I don't know if this is an offer of, oh, we're friends and we want to go hang out. I'm going to be honest. I think this is a cry because he's very lonely. He doesn't really have anyone to spend time with, which is probably why he would chat with me at night so often, you know, in the middle of the night. I mean, look at the time of these texts. It's the middle of the night. For me, this is the time that I'm getting ready to go to bed. For him, he's in the East Coast of Canada. What is this, like 5 in the morning? And he's sending me these texts.
Well, it's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Talking to me about this stuff? Like, what is this, right? So, obviously, I think this guy's very lonely. I don't think that this guy has any or many friends. I think he's burned all his bridges. I think,
like, the total lack of self-awareness here is fascinating.
Andy is his business partner when it comes to the casino, but this guy doesn't really have anyone to talk to about wrestling. He doesn't have anyone to talk to about anything. So, after having done this work with me for many months, and then all of a sudden, you know, doing smart guys and seeing, hey, we both do have a affinity for pro wrestling, he reaches out to me in this way. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm very embarrassed when I get this because, number one, all right, I'm friendly with this man from a work perspective. I'm not necessarily considering this guy a close personal friend or anything. He probably thinks that way because I've been feeding him these lies for months and months about family members and shit to get out of...
He's so, like, he's describing him... Phil does this a lot. This is projection.
Stuff, so I don't have to get wrapped into his drama shit that's awful by ideas that aren't going to work. Okay? So, basically, I'm like, damn. He definitely got, you know, he's lonely. He's got full... I'll be honest, maybe a little bit of gay. I don't know. Again, that's not anything bad if he is gay. I don't...
Whoa, the homophobia here.
know if he is or not. I really don't know his sexual affiliation. I'm not trying to say he's gay, but it's a little weird when someone who you've never spent any time with in real life all of a sudden is offering to fly you across the country, all expenses paid, to a bar in Florida to drink and see Hulk Hogan. I'm like, this is a little gay. Okay? Just being honest. Okay? Now, for those who don't know, I'm happily married. My best friend is my wife. I've said time and time again, if I'm going to spend more time with someone, it's going to be my wife. It's not going to be PPP spending time at Hogan's bar in Florida, brother. So I very respectfully declined and said maybe if it were 10 years ago, this is something I would have been interested in, but I'm tied down and rooted in Washington, and I couldn't in good conscience go on a trip without my wife because I want to spend time with her. So what he says is, I would pay for her to come too, and we'll set up Jasper with a sitter. No pressure. I know it's a lot of, again, the health issues, with my wife that we had mentioned and stuff like that. And then he says, oh, I want to get you guys out of the house and something that the distractors can suck a cock forever. That's not true. A moment ago.
So, some people might say, Phil, that this would have been success. That you got Ashton to pay for your honeymoon, to go to Florida, to meet Hulk Hogan, your hero. I don't know. That seems like that would have been a good cash out. That seems like you would have actually won at least something as part of this. Like, Phil, you can't leave for a week to go spend some time with your wife? Like,
you just said you wanted to fly me down to spend time at the bar. Now all of a sudden it turns into, oh, well, now I want to fly you and her out.
Well, that's because you brought it up, you asshole. He said, like, you brought it up and Ashton responded.
Because I want to get you out of the house to basically spite the detractors. That's not what it was. What happened is he got embarrassed because he saw that I declined and said, nah, dude, it's not like that. I don't like you like that. I got a wife, And he's like, oh, shit, let me spin it now that, it was actually, his wife and his family, all right? Ridiculous. So anyway.
So I'll say this, okay, and this is not Phil's reason. If Phil had have said that, this guy I don't really know is going to pay thousands of dollars to fly me across the country with my wife, this seems a little sus. This is kind of weird. Something about this doesn't smell right. I'm just going to turn it down. Like, that I think is fair. Like, if, I don't know, I'm trying to think of someone I sort of know online. Like, if Charlemagne was like, Arjun, I'll fly you down to the south and we can hang out or something like that. No, but I've known him for longer. I don't know. Somebody who I vaguely know is like, I'm going to fly you to your this location and we can, like, hang out. And I don't know. Like, I can see that being kind of weird. And you just going, you know what? I'm just going to say no. It's like in The Sopranos, where Artie Bucco, his wife makes him turn down the tickets for the cruise because he doesn't want to be in debt to the mob.
And again, I would put you up at the Hilton by the beach, and then he says, I feel bad for pressuring you, and I say, it's all good, right? It's just so bizarre. Like, so he basically 100% thought that everything that I ever told him was genuine when most of it was bullshit, okay? And quite frankly, that was one of the most embarrassing moments because he actually thought that, like, I was like, a close.
Is it possible to be this dumb? To have this? I guess this is just what narcissists are like. Just having the complete, like, opposite view of basic reality.
Personal confidant of him when I really hadn't told him anything that was anything secret whatsoever. None of it was real. It was all bullshit. That's what I mean. Like, all this week, every time that they're doing Kino Casino, they're like, here's something, a big revelation. Phil has a rabbit that died. Phil's wife was sick and she found religion. I'm like, it's every lie I've told him to get his confidence over the last 8 months, and he's spewing them out to the internet like there's some big deal.
I lied about my rabbit dying. I mean, guys, imagine if, like, I pretended Rain died and like, to get sympathy doll. Like, it's fucked. Like, dude, that's not you being clever. That's not you trolling. That's just you being a psycho. Like, I don't know. Just when you start bringing animals into it, it's animals and kids and just other, like, it's just.
The truth is, even if they were true, that's still fucked up. Like, that's supposed to be private, personal shit that you never would have to tell anyone, but yet you're doing it anyway, even if it were true. Now, it's not, but even if it were, man, that's fucked up. But the thing is, his audience is so dumb and stunted that they think that that's like, oh, he's saying he's spilling the tea, this is exciting. It's not, it's fucked. If you had said something to someone in confidence like that, would you think that they would go out and publicly say something about it later?
Well, but you did, Phil. So, Like, once again, if Phil had played this as the victim and said, look, I spilled my heart out to Ashton and he fucked me over in the end, and I told him all this personal info, like, I'd feel kind of bad for him. Like, if his rabbit actually did die, and I might feel a little bit sorry for him, but like, his cope is that I'm a psycho who lies about my pets and family dying.
Just because they broke off a business relationship with you? And by the way, we're definitely going to look at that, all right? Because I absolutely know that you guys want to see how it broke off and how it ended and how unhinged PPP became at the end, okay?
Okay.
Let's continue, because we've got more, all right? You know what? We really haven't done anything with Andy. We haven't. So I feel like we should do a little bit. To be honest, you know, I know Andy apparently doesn't like me, but I've barely talked to the guy, so I just don't know that well. And I don't know if everything he's ever said is a sham or a ruse. I don't know if he just goes with everything that PPP tells him. All right, very well it could be that he just goes with every single thing that PPP tells him. He's a pushover. All right, I don't know. But, you know, we're in a situation here where I barely ever spoke with the man. And so it's very odd to me that we had people saying stuff like he's your gaming soulmate and shit like that. But I mean, if anything, when I talk to him, he would be afraid of stuff. Like, for example, in this case, right after we had done like the first appearance, all of a sudden their clips channel put up a clip of me.
Okay, let's see here.
All right. Idolize meta art. All right. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, I can't take it anymore, guys. Sorry, I'm getting tired, and it's just, there's no showmanship. Like, none of this stuff is interesting. It's like, you'd think it would be interesting, but it's not. He's able to turn like something that should maybe be an interesting story into shit. But that's Phil's entire career. That's his whole career. And I think this is just kind of an interesting bookend to it. The fact that he thought this was a good idea, the fact that he thought that saying that he was a psychopath was like some clever way of owning the haters or whatever, it's like, I don't know. And I think Phil's lost a lot of his remaining fans over this, but I mean, there'll be more people. There'll be more people to come and, I don't know, suck him off or whatever. And there'll always be trolls who are willing to throw money at him like a dancing monkey. But I think I covered the point that I wanted to cover, that this was like the most delusional thing I've ever seen, honestly. I can't think of something more delusional than this. But this is what like Phil's master plan was. And it's retarded. And it's sad and it's pathetic. And he's going to go back into his hole with fewer fans than when he started this entire arc. And that's just DSP. And that's about all I had to say about it. So, God bless everybody. There will be some fun vlogs from Washington. Hopefully I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like uninstall all my social media apps before I go, like I start flying. Because I think I've heard that they've been checking them. So I don't know. That probably is a good idea. That they don't see my Twitter account or anything like that. But anyways, so God bless.